let's see how she sounds. This is my first time starting a Porsche 911 GT3. Ooh, that is very nice. Can't wait to take this baby for a spin. All right, so we're driving to downtown Greenwich, and we're meeting Emily, who is one of the directors of a film that was submitted to the film festival. Her film, Crosscourt Cultures, is actually, I'm telling her in person that it's going to be accepted in the film festival. So luckily I was on a trip to New York and Connecticut and saw that she was living in Connecticut and asked her to drive a couple hours down to do an interview with me. And so we're going to tell her in person that she's been accepted and that her film is going to be screened in person at Discovery Green June 3rd through 6th of 2021. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with y'all and looking forward to seeing all of you at the festival. All right, let's see how fast this baby goes. Hi, I'm Josh Merwin, the founder of the Houston International Sports Film Festival, and I'm here with Emily DeLuca, the director of one of the films that got submitted, Crosscourt Cultures. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about that.
Okay. It's a film that I created last year as part of my thesis project for graduate school. It was my thesis documentary film project, and I knew going into graduate school that it was going to be. Should I look at you?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I knew going into graduate school that this was the story I wanted to do as part of the program, because I had been to Cameroon back in 2015 and was just blown away and captivated by Joseph as a person and as a character. And I had all this wonderful footage of the academy that he was building there.
So you went there to shoot footage.
Yeah.
How did you hear about his story to begin with?
So his story is incredible. He's the kind of person you only meet once in your life, and you're just blown away by his life. I was working in advertising in Boston at the time, and the mother of one of my best friends growing up, I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, and she was on the board of a nonprofit called the Oyerbog Tennis Academy. And she was going to Cameroon with two other filmmakers to do like promotional photos and videos for the nonprofit. And she called me up, and she's always knew that I was passionate about documentary film and tennis.
And you played tennis in college, right?
And I played Division I tennis in college, yeah. I was captain for 2 years. So much fun, I miss it. And she was basically like, do you want to go to Cameroon in like 3 weeks to help film? And I was like, yes. So she kind of sponsored the whole thing for me, and I went there at like the drop of a hat and met Joseph, and he drove us around the country. He showed us the wall that he built in his backyard, the land that he somehow acquired to start building this academy. And
I believe I had this right. He said he started learn how to play tennis using like a calf's hip bone, something like insane.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. So he's a very complex character, and he actually didn't grow up in poverty at all. He came from a wealthy family in Cameroon, but his parents wanted him to go to school and be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. And he just fell in love with the sport of tennis and taught himself how to play in hiding because his parents didn't want him to play. They're like, no, you have to focus on your studies. So he would sneak away, and some of the like local neighborhood children would find these bones that they would make into rackets. And then he taught himself how to play against the wall, and then they would play with each other, and then they would get on the courts and play with the pickup balls for some of the pros there, whoever was hitting. And basically taught himself how to play.
Cool.
So
yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I grew up playing tennis. I didn't play in college, but I grew up playing and need to start playing again. I've not played in a while. Played a little bit since I went back to Houston. Played a little bit when I was living in the city at Central Park. Actually, it's one of the moms I met at like the baby's class. So I played with her a little bit, which was fun. And then actually just randomly got connected with somebody that ran Nike's tennis division for the past 20 years.
Oh, wow.
A while ago. Like I think when Marcelo Rios was playing and probably Agassi.
Yep.
So I need to. The one thing I forgot to ask him is if he can get me some pair of the Agassi tennis shorts. The jean shorts with the neon. I mean,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
they should bring those back. People would buy them now, like, right? They would definitely sell out.
That is something for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of asked me before how this festival started. So I've got a film on a University of Texas baseball player who had a kidney transplant that I started. God, now it was like 10 or 12 years ago. And his story took like 7-ish years for the main part of the story to kind of, for me to shoot that. And then he stopped playing baseball, and I had no real ending to the film. And then he had a son quickly after he stopped playing, and there was a whole baseball legacy in his family. And so I shot his son's first baseball game, like I shot all of his games. And Carson's dad was a kidney donor, and Carson's dad had played pro ball when he was younger, and his dad was there cheering his now grandson on. So it basically became a story about life and sacrifice and the rewards you get for that, because his dad never thought he would get a grandchild out of it. So that's, so looking at the landscape of sports films, film festivals, there wasn't a major sports film festival in the U.S., and that's kind of how we got here. So we are today, navigating through COVID. We're a month away, which is scary, but very exciting. So we have in person at Discovery Green, which is a huge, incredible park in downtown Houston. And then we're going to do Eighth Wonder Brewery is also, we're going to do some outside, and it's all outside stuff. So outside in person, which would be great, and then we'll have a virtual aspect to it as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's, the good thing is that it's, it's one of the only things that events that has actually been able to continue to go on.
Right.
So that's been nice. I want to see if he's going to back up.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So basically, we're trying to get Porsche to be a sponsor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is the sponsor now?
Well, we've got just like some small. Basically, we're putting everything together in the next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Discovery Green is basically using this as an incubator, so they're on board, and then it's just, we're trying to get a bunch of different sponsors. Then we're going to do a fundraising golf tournament, which really is going to be, the goal is to get alums from Texas schools to basically make it a competition. So have one team from UT and A&M and get them to compete, and then ideally do some other competitions around that as well. So I was actually with tennis, I was like, we could do like a fastest serve, right?
Oh,
Which should be cool, and these people will get competitive, right?
Well, it's funny, Joseph actually at one point had the fastest serve in the world.
Okay, so how far did he get professionally? I couldn't remember from the film.
So he
had a world ranking, right? Because he was playing on the tour?
He was on the ATP tour, and he didn't get as far as he wanted to professionally. Yeah. He became #1 in the country, and then he was sponsored to go train at Bollettieri's Tennis Academy with Nick Bollettieri, and he was the sparring partner for the Williams sisters.
That's funny.
Which is a great side story. There's some photos of that.
I went to Saddlebrook one summer, and then I went to Bollettieri, and I think it was at Saddlebrook. I was late and running to the courts, and I literally ran into Jennifer Capriati. Almost knocked her over.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Heart injure her.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. Okay, so he got pretty high. Yeah, I couldn't remember when I was on the phone call.
Yeah, he got after that. He competed in the Davis Cup as well, and
right. Yeah.
But then he couldn't continue financially, so then he started teaching. And then he actually went to college as well and was in the college top 10, I think.
Oh, cool.
So, but he never made it professionally the way he wanted to. So he started teaching and then decided to go back to Cameroon and build an academy there.
And he goes, how long each year does he go there? Is it like 3 months?
So it's half the year. He splits his year between living here in Fairfield County. He lives in Bridgeport with his family. Okay. And then the other half of the year he goes back to Cameroon, like literally putting his own life at risk every single time he goes back, and builds this academy for these kids, like free of charge.
So where does his funding come from? I assume
Fairfield.
He does fundraise at Fairfield.
Yeah, so he's tapped into this incredible just wealthy community that believes in his vision and believes in him as a person.
That's awesome. It's very interesting because I've got the people I'm staying with in the city, Jocelyn and Peter Davis. They've become like our New York family, and they're somewhat of a similar story. It's somebody that actually came from a very impoverished background and came to New York and it wasn't Jocelyn, but met another family that literally took him in and helped him. He was a doctor, and he helped him get his medical license here, and now he goes home and they have a medical complex
right.
that he's built there, and they've I mean, it's just an incredible story.
It's incredible. It's wonderful to hear that.
And that's one of the things I'm hoping with the festival is that we can not just show films, but really help organizations and people raise money for the causes they're passionate about.
I think that's great.
1 second.
But.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can, help raise money for him. And there was an interview I did with we have some Paralympic content as well. And there was an interview with a swimmer who's suffering from dwarfism.
Wow.
And she was training in the rivers in Colorado because she had no pool to go to during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like these incredible stories, and
right.
really getting kids involved outside and active again. But I think the fastest serve would be a fun competition.
Oh, for sure.
And then the real reason I wanted you to come all the way down here is to tell you in person that you've been accepted to the festival.
Oh, that's great! Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm choking up. Yeah. But that's why I made you drive all that way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm crying. It's been a stressful year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
No, I mean, the story was incredible. And when did you only applied a couple weeks ago, right? Or was it a couple?
I think it might have been a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got your film, and then there's another film about an African women's lacrosse team.
Oh,
that's
wow.
like somewhat similar. I mean, it's just incredible. So really, that's the stories we're going for. It's like
right.
stuff that's around sports, really related to life, and kind of getting people
right.
into better situations.
That intersection of how sports can make people's lives better in so many different ways.
So, and I think that's the festival can feature that, and then ideally help raise money not just for the festival to survive, but really for all these other charities. And
Oh, that's so exciting! He's gonna be so excited.
Yeah. Well, you got to record. You got to tell him in person and record it.
I will. I'm gonna call him as soon as I leave.
No, don't call. No, you got to record him in person.
Oh,
you got to sit down with
him.
Yeah. That way we can. I know it'd be great if you can.
Actually,
do that.
that's a great idea.
So you get somebody to record and say we're doing an interview. We want some content.
Yeah.
And then you can tell him in person.
That's a great idea, because one of my goals with him is to continue his story for the next 5 years, because it's just growing.
Yeah.
Yannick Noah just went to go visit the academy earlier this year, and then Novak Djokovic tweeted about it, and also his son is #1 in New England in his age group.
Yeah.
So it's just so multifaceted.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the generational stuff in sports is just incredible. I mean, Carson and his family, I mean, his son's playing baseball and he's really good. It's nuts. But that's why I made you drive all this way.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So I hope it made the drive worth it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Josh Merwin. I'm the founder of the Houston International Sports Film Festival. I'm here with this beautiful Porsche GT3. We took it for a little ride. We had an interview with Emily, one of the film festival submitters. She has a film called Crosscourt Cultures on a tennis player from Cameroon who was a professional tennis player on the ATP Tour. He was the #1 player in Cameroon when he was playing, and now he's got a charity where he goes back to Cameroon and teaches kids in Cameroon how to play tennis and to use tennis as a way to enhance their lives. So what Emily didn't know is that I'd already decided to accept her film into the festival. So we got to drive there and surprise her in person and tell her in person that her film was accepted, and she was obviously very excited that her film is going to be in the Houston International Sports Film Festival, coming to you June 3rd through 6th of 2021 in Houston, Texas.